Tonight, Cy tells a lie.
I say, I'm going to give you a lot of truth today.
Steve wishes it were true.
I like the idea of the flat earth. I do. I want to believe it.
And I adopt Christian values.
Being gay should be illegal, and women shouldn't be allowed to have the vote.
Why, hello, my fellow imps.
And welcome back, Steve's haircut, which I forgot to talk about in the last episode.
Right, a haircut, guys. I've lost all my power, like Samson, and now I do pre-sup.
Well, because you appreciated all that pre-sup last time, I thought I'd get a continuation and see what else he has to say on the matters of evidence, because, well, we learnt how it's not needed, so now we're going to learn about how he's going to tell us that it's not needed.
Okay, so you're going to make us sigh.
Yeah.
The Think Institute.
You know, a friend, someone you've been getting to know over the year.
He speaks!
He speaks? He speaks? What is this? Whoa.
For those who didn't watch the previous episode, he spent the entire thing just going...
That's what I'm going to do this entire episode from now on. You're going to carry
so
the
I'll
whole
talk
thing
it, and you'll just...
like some gauntless, like, yeah, preach, brother, yeah, you're totally right.
You know, a friend, someone you've been getting to know over the years, and he says to you, you know, Cy, I like the idea of Jesus. I like the idea of Christianity.
I don't.
Oh, sorry, no, like...
He's presupposing that he's going to get spoken to by someone who wants to be a Christian.
To be fair, they exist, right? You know,
Yeah, they do.
I think Alex O'Connor's an example, right? So, you know, like there are people that want to be. If he's not, there are certainly lots that want to be. They like the idea of it, but just immediately contextualize this with some other claim. Listen, you speak to some people, they go, I like the idea of the flat Earth. I do. I want to believe it. I just, you know, it's telling you immediately what's going on here. It's a want for it to be true.
I like the idea of slavery. I do.
But you know, it's just...
So if you can convince me that the Bible's true, I mean, we can bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring it back.
And yet, it just seems to me, you know, I've listened to Bart Ehrman, I've listened to Richard Dawkins. It seems to me like there just really isn't any evidence that these things actually happen.
Yes, the biblical narratives as history or science or however are clearly not true, like Noah's flood, etc., which we bring up all the time because it's just such an easy one.
Genocide they keep defending.
The Exodus. There's nothing to support it.
Yeah. And what Joel's getting across here, I guess, is just someone coming across and going, "No, man, I want it to be true. I can't convince myself of it. Like, it's not the case. Like, it's so obviously absurd."
Well, the evidence is in the contrary.
Yeah, the evidence is in the contrary, and then you've also got this situation of like inherited sin that doesn't rub well with me. It's not that it doesn't rub well with me. It doesn't make sense.
I want to believe, but I hate every part about what I'm reading. Well, that's where we're going anyway.
That's where we're going. But like, you know, the average person might just go, I just don't buy it. It's just not true. Like, it's just such obvious nonsense. And I mean, like, fair enough. Like, you will get lots of people saying, I listen to Richard Dawkins, and you know, like Bart Ehrman's another good example. So okay, you know, an earnest atheist coming up going, I want to believe like you, but I just don't. I wonder what this bastion of intelligence is going to tell them.
Cy, can you give me some evidence? I want to believe in your God. I want to believe in Christianity, but I can't believe in spite of the evidence. I can't have quote unquote blind faith. And the reason I'm bringing this up, Cy, is I've been told similar things. How do you respond? Now, this isn't an adversary in the sense of this isn't a person who's angrily trying to refute you, at least not overtly.
Love the assumed angry atheist thing.
Yeah.
Again, coming back in.
This one's rare.
Yeah,
this one's not an angry atheist.
in the best case scenario where you have someone who really wants to be a Christian and they're not angry at you.
It is mesmerizing that they've got to the point that they think that most atheists are angry, and it's because of just how locked off they are. So like, well,
there are things to be angry about, which is like the ignorance, the defending of slavery, the defending of genocide, and the continuing harm it tries to perpetuate today.
The typical context as well, relating to that last point that you said, is that they're just like running around going, listen, you're not allowed an abortion because of my views on religion. Listen,
You're not allowed to marry.
You're not allowed to
marry who you want because
yeah.
you're not allowed to be gay.
And in its extreme version, such as like Joel showed, like the LGBT flag
Decline, disorder.
being like the enemy, like just getting in the way like this, and then of course people are going to go fuck off, and then they're like just angry atheists.
Why are you
really.
so angry?
Why are you so angry? Like it reminds me. Right,
It's what
you've
I've
got-
said
sorry,
before about the
yeah.
tone thing, isn't it? They're saying that
Mhm.
being gay should be illegal,
Mhm.
and women shouldn't be allowed to have the vote or be allowed to
Yep.
have the right and control of their own bodies.
Mhm.
Why are you so angry?
Yep.
But they've said it in
I know.
a tone that's
I know
not...
it is exactly that. It's there's a good meme that was going around of like one of the, I think it was the star in The Handmaid's Tale, where like you've just got this complete misogyny like ruling over women, and then there's a guy like talking to her going, listen, we can disagree and still be friends. You don't need to be angry about it.
Listen, I think you're going to hell, but we can be friends.
Yeah, I think you deserve eternal torment, but why? Like we can be friends.
I've been told similar things. How do you respond? Now, this isn't an adversary in the sense of this isn't a person who's angrily trying to refute you, at least not overtly, consciously. How do you respond to that?
The addition of consciously there as well
Yeah.
is another thing of he is still being angry and adverse to you.
Yeah.
He's just not aware of it.
No, it's he's painted this with like so many caveats to be like, don't worry, the atheist is still an arsehole. Even if he doesn't know he's being an arsehole for not immediately believing what you believe, he is still an arsehole.
I'm getting that feeling of like he agrees with that Romans thing that everyone who claims to be an atheist is just lying.
Yeah.
They're suppressing the truth in their unrighteousness.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Especially with Sai.
How do you respond? Now, this isn't an adversary in the sense of this isn't a person who's angrily trying to refute you, at least not overtly, consciously. How do you respond to that?
See, what Christians don't realize is when somebody says something like that, they just blaspheme God.
No. What you don't realise at that moment is they don't care. Blasphemy doesn't matter if you don't believe.
No, it's an imaginary crime.
Look, I don't believe. Oh, that's blasphemy. I don't care.
No.
I'm asking you. In fact, if I ask you to convince me of something and then you just turn and go, oh, what you just said is really evil.
Yeah, I know. It's exactly what's happening.
Because you've probably moved yourself further away from convincing me.
And that is it, isn't it? It's like
I've reached out to you and you've called me a piece of shit.
yeah. That's exactly what's happening, yeah. That's exactly what's happening.
At least not overtly, consciously. How do you respond to that?
See, what Christians don't realize is when somebody says something like that, they just blaspheme God. Because the God of the Bible says that they know that he exists.
Hey! I said Joel would do it. But...
You picked the video, so I don't know about
I haven't
you.
watched this one.
All right, okay.
But it's what
Well
they say all
called,
the
well
time.
called,
They
yeah,
say it all the time.
Yeah.
Again, just because you're a liar doesn't mean you have to assume everyone else is. Stop fucking projecting.
And they just called God a liar. Now, of course, we want to believe them as Christians. We want to believe that they really don't know that God exists. I mean, that's what we want to do.
No, your entire position has been you don't want to trust anything we say.
He's basically saying if you're actually feeling like any kind of compassion, that thing that Jesus preached, if you're feeling any compassion towards the person who's trying to understand you but doesn't really buy it, really, that person's like deserving of hell. Like, they've just blasphemed
You're right.
God.
He's now... Well, for starters, he hasn't actually answered Joel's question,
No,
which was, how would you respond to
Yeah.
a person who's genuinely reaching out to you?
Yeah.
And his answer has been to other Christians to say, yeah, but they're fucking pieces of shit, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're right. You're so true. It's like, how do you answer this incredibly difficult question? How do you do it? Oh, you don't.
They just called God a liar. Now, of course, we want to believe them as Christians. We want to believe that they really don't know that God exists. I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to, think that they're being sincere. And the Bible says that they're suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
Sincere. We want to believe that they're sincere, but they're not sincere.
I want to believe that they're sincere, but I do have this ancient book that says they're all liars.
He isn't just
So-
presupposing his worldview. He's presupposing that everyone else is a piece of shit.
Well, that's part of his worldview, so...
Oh, yeah, good point.
Isn't it great though?
Not
I-
really.
I-
I'm not that happy about it. I'm not.
I want to believe them, but I have assumed they're liars.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Now you're an angry atheist.
Oh, it's true.
See, you've lived up. He told us that you'd be angry. See, he presupposed that you were angry, and he got it out of you by assuming that you were angry.
So he made me angry, and therefore he wins.
No. He was always right. It was always under the surface.
So when they say that they don't believe that God exists, that they need evidence, they've actually blasphemed him. And I've come up with this analogy, and I think I've shared it with you before on the podcast, but let's say you're standing beside your lovely wife and somebody comes up to you and says, Joel, I think your wife is a prostitute.
And then I show you all the photos of her on the street side,
Yeah.
taking money.
And I go, also, mate, I can tell you about a few marks that she's got down below.
What would that suggest to you? Yeah.
No, so yeah, but you would have to go, listen, man, it's a serious accusation. Could you please...
And I'm sorry, this isn't analogous at all.
No, it's not.
This is you saying, you know,
You already know
No,
your wife exists.
no, my girlfriend goes to another school.
That is what it is, isn't
That's
it?
what
Yeah,
this is.
Yeah.
And everyone's going, yeah, but we've never seen her.
Never seen her, mate. Like, also, you changed her name 4 times. We were meant to meet up with her the other week.
They
and
all went to
she
other
randomly
schools.
went to Japan again. Like, what's going on? Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. It's like, we don't, under his analogy, we know the wife exists. That's helpful. A better analogy,
But-
as you said, is one where it's like, there's not even
But
evidence of that.
in this scenario,
Yeah.
where he's talking about his girlfriend from another school that he's never shown us,
Mhm.
he's now saying that we're liars for not believing him when he says that.
And he's also getting emotionally outraged.
But how fucking backwards is that?
Mhm.
That we're the liars for saying that we're not convinced by what you're saying.
Also, he's the one making the claims. If suppose
That's what I mean.
if he was claiming that the wife is a prostitute, and then you go, listen, I want to believe you, but I'm just, I need some evidence for it. His answer here, analogously, with the analogy, would be, well, deep down you know it's true. Deep down, you know your wife is a prostitute.
I'm still stuck back at, I say to him, he makes a claim, I say I don't believe you, and then he goes, liar.
Yeah.
That's where I'm stuck.
This is such brain rot. It's just brain rot.
This is on a channel called The Think Institute.
Not think institute, just don't think.
Don't think.
It's all projection, isn't it?
And I've come up with this analogy, and I think I've shared it with you before on the podcast, but let's say you're standing beside your lovely wife and somebody comes up to you and says, Joel, I think your wife is a prostitute. And then you say, well, last night she was making dinner with me, and I don't think she was walking the street that night.
That's a metaphor.
Well, I was going to say, just because she was at home making dinner that night doesn't mean she's not a prostitute.
Mhm.
But let's continue.
Oh, sorry, also, your wife is a prostitute. Well, she was with me last night.
That's what I mean.
So
That doesn't mean
therefore, there's
anything.
no other night that she could have been doing it.
Somebody comes up to you and says, Joel, I think your wife is a prostitute. And then you say, well, last night she was making dinner with me, and I don't think she was walking the street that night. And the night before that, she was at Bible study. I don't think she was walking the street that night. And the night before that, she was visiting her parents. I don't believe my wife is a prostitute. Would you say that? Would your wife be very happy if you were
Absolutely
saying
not.
that?
Absolutely not.
These people are so easy.
Wait, so if someone said to you, I think your wife's a prostitute, and you didn't reel out, no, I don't think. You think your wife would be angry if you reeled out, she's not a prostitute, here's why.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that, yeah.
That's really weird. So what would...
Wait, would his wife go, no, you presuppose I am right now?
I want to know how he's going to answer this. What would be the right answer to this if someone said, I think your wife... But bear in mind, I'm the one that was, I don't believe you, but now this has been twisted around to being the one that's
precisely.
making the...
He's flipped the burden of proof. Yeah.
But you said, buddy, that's my wife you're talking about. You better choose your next words wisely, because they basically, in a way, blasphemed your wife.
Yeah,
But no, I wasn't making the claim.
Oh, you're the one making... Your wife exists.
This is a really shit analogy. This isn't an analogy. This is just wrong.
Are. Like analogies for apologists are kryptonite.
I've told you,
They can't fucking understand any of them.
The actual analogy is my girlfriend goes to another school.
Yes.
I don't believe you. You're a liar.
Yeah. You
Like-
just blasphemed my non-existent girlfriend from another school.
But he's now made it as he's now almost done it as putting it as us saying God doesn't exist.
Yes.
And him being that I don't believe you. But that wasn't what was said. That wasn't
Mhm.
where it started. That was not what Joel laid out.
It's all gaslighting, man.
This
It's
is
all gaslighting. Like, one thing I've noticed from the 2 videos that you brought, it is projection, gaslighting. It's just apologetic. To be fair, he says he's not a normal apologist. He is.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just-
flipped the script.
He's taken apologetics straight up, no flipping. But then any of the logical parts, he just went, nah, this is too hard.
This is awful.
Yep.
The analogy doesn't work. And I'll tell you what, there's lots of conversations about this. Let's get away from the prostitute angle and just say,
If you
you know,
insist.
dude, I think your wife might be cheating on you.
How dare you?
How
what are
dare
you
you?
saying right here?
But if I was to provide you evidence, would you still be saying, how dare you to me?
Not only that, this person knows your wife and knows that she's not that.
Oh my fucking
If he
hell.
knows that she's not that, then
So again, you've started at the position of they were lying.
and also mapping onto this person actually who is an atheist is not an atheist. He knows that God exists. Is how that maps on.
Yeah, so he's again. Oh, my analogy is where they were a liar and they
Mhm.
were trying to upset you.
So what Joel's done is he's presented this case of a genuine atheist coming up going, listen, I just don't believe the propositions. They're unlikely. And he's, in like no words at all, framed it as they do know they're lying and they're deliberately trying to insult something you care about.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
A
Si.
piece of shit.
Fuck you.
No one should take you seriously, and I do hope that not only do no atheists listen to you, I hope no Christians listen to you.
Well, Joel's
'Cause
nodding along, isn't he?
Every opinion you've got in this so far has been utterly worthless.
So I would say that's the same thing with God. I say, what is more dangerous for that person, to blaspheme your wife or to blaspheme your God?
Hmm.
So when they say that they don't have sufficient evidence for God,
So what you're saying is, if I say, look, I'm not convinced by what you're saying about God, your response is to go, shut your mouth or I'm going to punch it.
Like, I'm really upset. That's like accusing my wife of being a prostitute when you know that she's not a prostitute.
That's fucking baffling, man.
Dude, this is not logic. It really is brain rot. It's just
Do
painful.
you know what I'm thinking? If you try and present something really complex to a child that can't do it, they might get really annoyed and throw the toys out.
Yeah.
It's kind of what's happening here. Sai's been presented with a difficult question, so he's turned around and he's fucking throwing a tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
sure, they might say it very kindly and very nicely, but the Bible says they're suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
I assume everyone I talk to is a liar. Sai 10, 2024.
Okay, so roll that back again.
So when they say that they don't have sufficient evidence for God, sure, they might say it very kindly and very nicely, but the Bible says they're suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
So when they come up to you and they say, listen, I'm just convinced that your wife is a prostitute and here's all the evidence. No, they don't. They don't have any evidence. They're just suppressing the truth. They know she's not.
You know, that passage in the Bible is one of the main reasons that I know it's horseshit, because I know what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So if the Bible tells me that I'm lying to myself about what I'm thinking about, then why should I bother taking it seriously?
This is where they go with suppressing the truth. Is it like you can't be conscious of what you actually know?
But-
On the one hand, they want to tell you, here's like evidence, here's how I
But
know things.
what's the point in having a dialogue with anyone or anything that proposes that everything that you claim to be thinking isn't what you're thinking?
It's pointless. Like if too many people were like Si, the only answer to disagreements is war.
Yes. Yeah, because there's no
nothing else.
discussion to
There's
be
no
had.
discussion to be had, and it's because of him.
It's great response fodder, but I would never want to talk to the man. Some of the people that we've covered is like, I can have a conversation with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
But when you get to this, oh, you're just lying, what's the point?
This is why precept to me is insufferable.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
it
no
doesn't
point.
have my respect. It doesn't possess any decency. It's just brain rot. It's cancer.
Yeah, it's not an intellectual position and it's
No,
not an honest
and-
position.
Almost every single person that does precept is genuinely straight up insufferable.
One thing we have to be careful is not to call them liars. Now, they might be outright lying, but the Bible calls them truth suppressors.
Look, I'm not calling you a liar, but you are suppressing the truth. Do you remember what I said about that tone thing?
Yeah. To be fair, lying is intentional. Truth suppression, maybe not. So, listen, Si, I'm not calling you a liar, but you're
But-
suppressing the truth. You're suppressing the truth.
He's also like implying here, though, that we'd be stupid enough to not realize he's calling us liars.
They have just blasphemed God. So I think that when we enter into that conversation, we must keep that in mind. So when they say they don't have sufficient evidence for God, I might bring up, well, you know what the Bible says? The Bible says you do.
Dude, in this scenario, you're talking to someone who wants to be convinced. They say, the evidence I have isn't convincing. And you turn around and go, yes, it is. Have you talked to another human being? Have you had conversations that aren't about precept? Like, ever? Have you ever tried to convince someone that, you know, a movie you like is good, or a book is worth reading, or, I don't fucking know, the apple that you had the other day is worth buying? Have you talked to a human being about anything?
His whole life has got to be just this.
Because nothing else works this way. Holy shit.
Yeah, holy shit. Hey, now who's suffering from precept?
I'm just imagining, you know, you saying to me, look, man, I don't think that new Marvel film's very good. And I go, yes, it is. And you go, no, it isn't. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No, it isn't. Oh, we've both got our own presuppositions.
Yeah,
so
we've
there's
got
no
our own
point.
presuppositions. It's like, do
The
you want
fucking-
to hear my reasons? No. There's no need. No, not at all. And also, listen, I earnestly disagree with you on whether or not the film is good or bad. No, you don't.
No, don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And also, like,
You're just lying. You think you actually
lying.
think it's
You're
good.
You're suppressing that you have actually my view of the film.
Do you know
Like,
what?
no
the
one
Bible
tolerates such
says
a
that you
prick.
do actually like it.
Yeah. The director said that you do actually like it. Done.
If you said this to me, I'd just tell you to go fuck off. The
Because
conversation
you're an
would have
angry
ended.
atheist, just like you predicted.
Sure.
So you're not really sincere.
I frankly wouldn't give a damn what you think. You can continue to think I'm angry and suppressing the truth. Like, your opinion is fucking valueless.
He kind of has constructed a world where, to him, atheists probably are mean because he is a prick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, this is the thing, isn't it? If every single person you meet is an asshole,
Might have something to
it
do with
might be that you're actually
Might
the
be
asshole.
you. Might be you.
And when you say that you don't, you're actually blaspheming the God that created you.
And how convincing is that going to be to them? It's not.
That's how I would start that conversation.
But that would also be how you end the conversation, because they'll walk away at that point. The thing is, what's great here is you can tell this he hasn't had a conversation. That's how I would start this conversation. He's never had it. This is hypothetical. This is new. He's never spoken to an
in his head,
atheist.
he's a legend.
He's never spoken to an atheist or even anyone who's not in his bubble. And that's why he doesn't actually know how to talk to them.
I'd certainly say this: he's never listened to someone outside of this bubble.
What do you mean? He's talked at.
He's talked at them.
You know, I would point out that me sharing this evidence with them for the existence of God is very dangerous for them, because the Bible says they have sufficient evidence for their condemnation. And I say that there are degrees of hell according to the amount of truth a person gets and rejects. And I say, I'm going to give you a lot of truth today.
So what you're saying is you start with calling them a liar and then move into threats.
Yeah.
God, you must be a joy at parties.
And you do it under the view of Jesus' love.
You don't have many friends, do you, Si?
And I say, I'm going to give you a lot of truth today.
Yeah.
And if you reject that truth, this could be the worst day of your life.
I missed that. There's a third step. I call you a liar.
Mhm.
I threaten you.
Mhm.
And then I preach at you.
Yes, that sounds like a really good way to make friends and never alienate anyone.
Or convince the person who's asked you to convince them.
Yeah. You can imagine, like, the mailman's just going, I just asked for evidence, bro. Like, I don't know why, like, I'm leaving with these threats of hell from a God of love.
Probably doesn't even realise the contradiction of
Love
threats and
doesn't.
love. But,
So many
yeah.
Christians don't. Like, if you, like, hold their feet to the fire, so to speak, they end up just going, yeah, but, you know, God.
They do, though. You send yourself there.
You said yourself that you lock yourself in from the inside. Okay, C.S. Lewis, sure.
If I locked myself in from the inside, why can't I leave?
Because you don't want to leave. You're suppressing. You're suppressing.
So even in pain and suffering.
Yeah, you want to be there. That is actually what most Christians, when they're pushed down that, believe. They really do think that atheists want to be separated from God, which is simultaneously, to most of them, burning forever. And then
Just
when it
hate
suits
God
them,
that
it doesn't
much.
necessarily mean burning forever, but it kind of does mean burning
We just
forever.
hate God that much that burning forever is better.
Yeah, here is by definition the best thing you would ever want to be around. It is by definition the absolute best thing for you, for me, for everyone. And then they simultaneously believe that you earnestly are like, yeah, I don't want to be doing that.
And often, it depends on the situation as well. But I would ask the person, what evidence would convince you of the God who says you already have enough?
God would know what evidence is convincing, and then saying that he's already given me that evidence. Man,
I mean, like, look, I understand.
even he's not alluded to what the evidence God has given us. He's just saying God has given you evidence. All right, okay. Can you remind me what that evidence is? Well, God's already given it to you. No. Tell me what that evidence was. Ah, well, you already have it. Do you know what I mean? That's where we're at with it.
I kind of get this, right? It's like, I think it's a fair question to say, okay, well, what kind of evidence would convince you of it?
I think it's fair.
And then, like, here's one thing I would say. I'd go, you know what? I'm very much convinced that evolution by natural selection is true. I'd need to better square that with the Bible. Like, how is it that we look at the Bible and decide which parts of it is, literal and which parts are not? The endorsements of slavery, the Canaanite conquest. Like, how do we make sense? Like, I think women are just as capable as men, but the Bible clearly tells me it's not, which is why Aquinas and, Martin Luther wrote as much. Like, and why for almost all of Christian dominion, women have been, like, subordinated. These are all things that need to be squared under a Christian framework. Like, how's he going to deal with any of this stuff? He's just going to go.
I think.
Well, you're setting the bar too high. It's because it's just bollocks.
There's also a thing here of what would convince you and what would demonstrate it is true are also different things.
Yeah.
What might convince me would be that simultaneously around the planet we are all lit as if it is daylight, even though that the position of sun would not allow for it, and then the sky spells out, I am God, I am here. That might be quite convincing if there is no explanation that can be found for why it happened. Doesn't mean it actually was God, but it might be enough to convince.
Yeah, like, for some people it would be an interesting piece of evidence, But I actually think for most people that would do
I think they would probably do so. That would probably make me go, how the hell? And if I couldn't figure, I might have to sit there and go,
yeah.
It's possible.
But the thing is on that front, as I might go, something is very powerful and able to do that, and maybe that's worthy
is that powerful
of being
enough
God.
of being called God?
But, like,
possibly
inherited sin, virgin births, fuck off. Like,
well,
you need something.
This is obviously another aspect of the worship. We're not even talking about the worship.
No,
angle
you're
here.
just talking about.
We're just talking about, would I be convinced that God therefore exists? Possibly. Again, it would come down to, can we investigate what happened in any way, and does it completely violate everything?
Yeah, you're looking at evidence and stuff, which is not his strong suit.
It's already been given.
And very often they give me a piece of evidence. They say, well, this evidence would convince me of the God that says you have enough. I said, no, you didn't understand my question. I said, which evidence would convince you of the God who says you already have enough?
Oh, I see. So he's asking more of a meta question. Which piece of evidence would convince you that you've already got enough evidence?
It wouldn't. Because I don't believe there's enough evidence. So,
well, you could say, if the claim wasn't so profound and so alienating of everything else that I knew, then I would need less evidence for it. You claim to me that, you're at a barbecue and you're cooking up some meat, I'll buy it. There's not much there. If you say there's a dragon...
We'd now need to have a discussion about what is sufficient evidence and has that burden been met? If we're going to analyse what evidence would convince me of the God that says if I have enough evidence, I need to analyse the evidence that has been provided and whether that does actually meet any burden of proof. And if you're just going to move to fucking look at the trees or something like that, then no.
I mean, like, he's with him saying what kind of evidence would convince you of the existence of the God who says you already have enough evidence. He's basically saying what would convince you that the Bible is true.
Kind of.
Yeah. And it's like, well, there's like...
Well, you can actually remove God from this thing here.
Yeah.
In the sense of what evidence would convince you already have evidence.
Yeah. What
a stupid question to ask someone.
To be fair, like, I don't think it's too stupid. I think it's like, it's a metaphysical... Sorry, it's an epistemological question that I think is fair enough. But the thing is that he's not going to actually do any of the hard work with the epistemology here. Rather, he's just asking this question, just as they bring up, like, how do you justify the law of non-contradiction? So that, like, you'll end up in a space where you're like, okay, these are interesting questions that we need to pass out.
He wants you to do the work for him, is kind of what you're saying.
No. He wants you to just realize that at base it's quite difficult to answer these questions. Therefore, he's in his own right to just answer it straight out with an entire worldview and a conclusion.
Yeah, like I said, the best I can answer his question there is with a very, very long discussion on what is sufficient evidence, what has been provided. And if you just, again, like I said earlier, if you just turn and go, he's already given it to you, that doesn't actually answer my question.
And when you do go, has he really? And he goes, well, what could I say to convince you that he's already told you enough?
Just gets annoying to listen to.
Because the God of the Bible says they have enough. Logically, no evidence could convince them of the God of the Bible who says they already have enough. It's a matter of suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
Well, Joel's nodding to that. He thinks that's good.
Hang on, I need to think about what he said there, because that's a mess.
Of course it's a mess. It's like, no evidence can convince you of what I've already told you is true. You're not an earnest person.
No evidence can
convince.
No evidence can convince you of the thing that I have told you is true, via the lack of evidence that I'm not providing. You know, again, this is just reverting back to. So what we've got is we've started with you're a liar.
Yep.
We move to threats of eternal punishment, a bit of preaching, and then saying, "Look, I'm not going to give you evidence because you're not going to believe me anyway. You're worthless." If someone asked you to try and convince them, and this was your methodology, these 4 steps, you are utterly worthless to them.
Did you add the threatening as well?
Yeah, I did have the threatening.
Yeah, good, yeah. Because like that's just that cherry on top.
Not only are you worthless to what they were asking you for, you may have likely, no, I would say almost certainly, have convinced them that you're full of shit and should probably stay away from this form of Christianity. Yeah, I am a bit annoyed at this one. This is more annoying than the other one.
Angry atheist right here. You did it. There you go.
I would unpack that because I'm a presuppositionalist. And whenever anybody asks a question, they're standing on something. When you see the debates, I guess you would call me the presup Nazi, because I don't let them get away with any presupposition.
Did you just call himself the presup Nazi?
All right, I'll happily go with that.
He's fucking got in the video. In the sake.
Not my fault.
What the? Are you kidding me? Listen, I'm not really convinced of the claim that you're giving me. Yeah, well, I'm the presup Nazi.
Seiten Brugenführer.
When you see the debates, I guess you would call me the presup Nazi, because I don't let them get away with any presuppositions where they're borrowing from the God of the Bible.
Wait!
Oh, God, there's so much
You
wrong
won't
with this
let
analogy.
them get away with presuppositions, but you'll flood them with it?
Yeah, he presupposes his entire worldview and then goes, I'm the presup Nazi. I will not let you get away with presupposing that I'm wrong.
I won't let you have any presuppositions. I'm going to have them all.
And he's also...
Right, maybe he is the presup Nazi.
Yeah, but he's also like saying it in such a way as like it's a good thing.
The Lebensraum of logic. That's the right word, isn't it? The living space.
Yeah.
Where they're borrowing from the God of the Bible. I come up with this analogy. I say, let's say there's 2 countries going to have a war, and one country has all the guns and ammunition and the other country has 0. When does that war start? When one country gives the other country some guns and ammunition, and I'm not doing that.
No, actually. I think if one country has literally nothing to defend itself and the other has everything, there's the one with everything is going to do the invading before the other country can begin to get anything.
Yeah, but this is Seiten Brugenführer, so maybe what he'll do is he'll give them guns and like bring their dead bodies over the line and then get his initiation for invasion.
So what you're saying is he'll send some people with guns over and then say, look, they've got guns.
Yep.
Very often, the interactions that I have are warlike because there are people who are hostile to the faith who want to ridicule.
I'm sorry.
Fuck you, Sight. Someone comes across and goes, listen, I want to believe. And he's like, yeah, they're hostile to the faith. They're against me, so it's warlike.
I'm also sorry. This is, again, quite annoying. When I go into debates, I won't grant them anything. However, I presuppose everything.
Yeah. And can you believe it?
Again,
can you believe it? I win every
I
debate.
win every-
I win every debate.
Exactly.
I win every debate. I presuppose that I win every debate, and then I win every debate.
It's
And it's
kind of-
like,
It's kind of what I was getting at. It's like, so
Yeah.
you're not having a debate. You're having an assertion that you're correct.
yes.
It's not a debate. You're just going to go, I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm right. I'm right. No, you're not allowed
Also,
that.
well, imagine like, you go up and you go, listen, can you like give me some reasons as to why you think resurrection is possible? And he goes, I'm not giving you that ammunition. That's my ammunition. Questions are mine. You're not allowed.
This is why I said,
questions.
if you had a presup of God does exist versus a presup of God doesn't, the entire debate would be, he does exist. No, he doesn't. Yeah, he does. No, he doesn't.
It's a
Yeah,
Monty
he does. No, he
Python
doesn't.
sketch.
It'd be it. That would be
I've
the
come here
extent
for
of-
an argument. No, you haven't. Here I have. No, I haven't. Here I have. I'm not going to let you have that.
Exactly.
That's mine.
That's all it would be.
Right.
It would be a Monty Python.
Right, it's
argument.
over now. I'm sorry. No, it isn't. Yeah, it is. It's all over now. Like that's it. I've decided.
That's oh,
There's nothing here. There's nothing in this guy's head. It's the Joels. It's the Joels
there is
that drive me nuts.
Side 10 Brugenführer does have something in his head.
What's he got?
It's Joel.
This time Joel like actually spoke though. He's like, yeah, no, he's preach, brother. Preach, brother. They can't ask questions. That's presupposing we're right.
I'm just thinking, oh, you haven't watched The Simpsons, I can't do it. There's a bit where Homer basically decides that he can get this pecking thing to do his job for him by putting it over the computer keyboard on the enter.
Shouldn't you be working?
I got someone to cover for me.
That's all Side 10 is doing,
Yep.
except for its escape. It's like anyone asks him a question,
Nope.
escape,
Nope.
escape,
Nope.
escape.
Mhm.
Ridicule God in a public forum. That might not be the case with your sister-in-law, who says, well, this piece of evidence is, it just really bothers me. If you solve this for me, then I'll become a Christian. And, of course, I'm highly skeptical of that, but I'll say, this evidence, it's actually not your problem. Your problem is that if you die tonight and you stand before the God that exists, you're going to be accountable for your sin against him.
So again, this
It's
is his
just-
4-step
it-
process.
It's just threat.
You're a liar, threat.
Yeah, but,
It's the
my
first two
goodness,
steps of
dude.
this.
Imagine like you're just trying to be convinced of, I don't know, the virtues of capitalism. Like anything, right? I want to be convinced that, there's like a...
No, you don't. You don't want to be convinced.
Oh, no.
I'll kill you.
Yeah, but like, that's not really convincing me.
Yes, it
like,
is.
Is it?
I'll kill you.
Oh, yeah, no, good point. It sounds like really what I should be concerned about is being killed, not whether or not the proposition is true.
No, it isn't.
Oh, is it
I'll
not?
kill you.
Okay, good. Yeah, you really do you have quite abrasive interactions with people?
No, I'll kill you.
I'm just so sorry I resisted.
This is a
you.
good process. I like it. I'll try it a bit more often.
Yeah, well done. You win. I guess I'm convinced.
Can win every argument.
This evidence, it's actually not your problem. Your problem is that if you die tonight and you stand before the God that exists, you're going to be accountable for your sin against him.
I'm now just picturing that court of law. You got a guy who's in there, and the judge is asked for evidence of the crime that he's committed.
Mhm.
He says, look, you don't need the evidence. Just be worried about what happened to you if we put him in jail.
Yeah.
This is the mafia solution.
This is about God, the mafia boss. It really is. Yeah. I mean, another thing here is that if you just take this conversation at this barbecue that they're at, someone coming up and go, listen, I really just can't get there. They went through this riffraff of him being an insufferable twerp. And then he goes, you know what your problem is? Do you know what your problem is? You don't have my view. Thanks, Si. Like, amazing. Well done. And actually, if you don't have my view, you're in a
No, I was
big
gonna say, it's actually
trouble.
worse.
You're in
It's
big
not that your
trouble.
problem isn't my view,
Yeah.
because you do secretly hold my view.
Oh, that's it. True. You do secretly hold my view.
Your
Yeah,
problem is that if you don't publicly express
It's
my
if
view,
you die tonight.
you're gonna
If you die tonight. No wonder they call him the fucking,
Brugenführer.
Brugenführer. Like, yeah, he's just like, hey man, I'm not really convinced of this. If you die tonight, all right, Ray Comfort, Jesus, like, calm down.
But why don't you share with me that problem that you're having with this evidence, and I'll try and explain to you from a Christian perspective how we deal with that. But I suspect that you'll reject it offhand because you're just looking for reasons to be...
It is. It's his 4-step process. You're a liar. Threaten. Preach. and then back to calling you a liar.
You're right. This is the 4-step process to
Or
convince
saying that,
anyone.
Sorry, it's not a liar at the end. It's saying, look, sorry. So it's, you're a liar, threat, preach, but I have been wasting my time because you're not going to listen to me.
And-
That's his 4-step process to a fucking
And
argument.
it's all wrapped in, this is your problem.
Yes.
Your problem is that you don't have my view, and you're going to get hurt for it.
And you wouldn't believe me if I
And
explained
you wouldn't
myself.
believe it because you're suppressing the truth anyway.
What a wanker.
Insufferable.
What a wanker.
Insufferable.
Be comfortable in your unbelief, but share that with me.
Hmm.
And they might share that evidence with you.
I don't think I would if you had said that to me. I'd probably just gone, oh,
Mhm.
you're not worth having a conversation with.
But I suspect that you'll reject it offhand because you're just looking for reasons to be comfortable in your unbelief.
Also, another thing.
You're looking
Is
for
anyone going to want
reasons.
to talk to him when you're this condescending?
Dude, everyone that like knows Sai, like, should I ask him a question? God, no.
no,
God,
just
no.
be a condescending prick.
Even the Christians would go, no, honestly, the dude, he doesn't know it. He's suppressing the truth, but he's actually going to hell. You know?
So, can you help me out with this?
No.
Well, I would, and I will, but you're probably not going to listen to anything I say.
In fact, I know you're not. You're suppressing the truth. The Bible tells me you're suppressing the truth.
All right, well, fuck off then. What's the point? What? Why would anyone then continue to talk to you?
That's your problem, Reese, because I'm trying to
I'm-
help you here. But if you die in your sleep, you'll know that I was right, because you'll be tortured forever.
I really dislike this man.
Yeah, so
The condescension is now the next thing that started to piss me off, as well as the projection, gaslighting, and everything. Oh, God.
Hmm.
And they might share that evidence with you. And then you say, okay, well, this is how I, as a Christian, reconcile this.
Of course, you get to speak for all Christians.
yeah, of course. All real Christians are pre-sub.
Creationist precept.
Creationist pre-sub. That's true.
Well, what about this one? Well, what
Right.
about this one?
Right.
And it's just you're
Oh, what? You mean they might have more than one issue?
But yeah, but he's got a blanket answer to all of them.
Well, true.
So here's my 3 problems that I have. Okay, well, all of them are just wrong.
He's also, I loved how well, I suppose he's presupposed
Yeah.
that the answer he
Yeah.
gives is going to be so great that they accept it and
Yeah.
then need to move on to a different issue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what. He doesn't even need to know what their concerns are. Yeah, that's true.
He's got the right answer.
He's just immediately got it right.
you're believing what they're saying. You're following down that rabbit trail.
You told us that you don't believe us. You told us you don't believe we're telling the truth.
Yeah.
So why are you now saying that you do believe?
Yeah, make your mind up, man.
And I believe that very often it comes into a position where we're not honoring Jesus Christ as Lord when we're believing the person. But, we have to be respectful of the person as well.
There is no respect at all.
If you
You're-
start with the position of we're a liar, you don't respect us.
Yeah, there is no respect here, like whatsoever. There's absolutely none. This is why your interactions with atheists.
I'll tell you
and
what, if I
non-believers
ever
is
do
bad.
get to have a conversation with you, my opening line will be, I don't respect you in any way, just to let you know. And I am being honest with that. Now, let's talk this. That would be how I would open a conversation with Si.
Well, hopefully, he'd be honest with you as well. He'd go, okay, well,
You're a
my,
liar.
my rejoinder is actually you do respect me, and if you die tonight in your sleep,
Like I say, get back to the scenario where the person thinks that your wife is a prostitute because
The really worthless analogy.
emotionally charged and non-mapping analogy. Yeah, great.
they saw your wife kissing somebody at the bus station. You say, look, buddy, that's my wife you're talking about. You better be very careful the next words out of your mouth. By the way,
You just
Hang on a
threatening
minute.
people.
So if someone said to you, look, I've seen your wife kissing someone else at the bus station, she might be cheating on you, and you just go, no, she isn't.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean she isn't. And again, what you've just done is, it's this, again, we're at the start of his 4-step process
Oh,
here.
we're back to the beginning.
No, it
aren't we?
isn't. I'm going to hit you.
Yeah.
It's the beginning
true.
of the 4-step
It is just
process.
the
This is
four-step
what he has
process.
with every anytime someone
It's
asks
just-
for
it's
evidence
just
or
so
presents
much love.
evidence.
It's so much Christianity.
Every conversation with Si, you're a liar. I'm going to hit you.
You're a liar. I'm going to hit
This
you.
is why you're wrong. And obviously, you're not going to listen to why I'm wrong because you're just suppressing the truth.
by the way, that was her brother. She
Right.
was dropping him off. He was over for a visit.
Right.
And she was just giving him a kiss goodbye. I know all about it. And for you to say that is very now.
Even
Well,
then,
hang
though,
on.
Even then,
Hang on. If you had that as a response, why did you need to 1, call us a liar and 2, then threaten?
Yeah.
If you say that she was kissing someone, it was her brother, we're not lying.
Yep.
And 2, why threaten us? Why not just say, oh, I know about that.
Thank
That
you, mate.
was her brother.
Appreciate you for saying it, but maybe maybe you could say
He sounds like a really violent person. That like the first thought he has about something is telling someone to shut up or I'll hit you.
Yeah, I'll shut up or I'll hit you. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And even like if you wanted to go,
Especially if they're
sorry,
trying to
mate,
have
you,
your back.
you probably shouldn't assume that she's cheating, but I do appreciate what you're saying.
What's it?
But she's actually kissing her brother.
In this scenario,
Yeah.
this is someone who's trying to have his back as a friend.
Also, like,
And he turns around and
Yeah.
threatens them.
Yeah, exactly. If you saw someone like someone's wife kissing someone else, like he's changed the scenario. Like if I saw like, say like I saw your girlfriend's like kissing.
Well, I'll tell you
some-
what. If she's kissing her brother on the lips in a
That's exactly where I'm
intense
going. It
manner.
depends on how it's kissed, right? Like it depends on how it's done. If someone just kisses someone on the cheek, I'm
probably not
going to
say anything. Yeah,
I just whatever. Like it's a thing, right?
she's making out with him.
Yeah.
It's a bit
If
different.
Yeah, if they're tonguing each other, like then maybe I might go, bro. Like I don't know what your definition of cheating is, but
So that might be a way that I share evidence with somebody.
right.
Shut up or I hit you. That might be a way I share evidence with someone.
And same with the unbeliever. I say, look, I will share with you how we reconcile that as Christians, but understand that when I do this for you and you've been given this truth and you reject it, it's not good for you.
I love. We're gonna the 4-step process of Cy Bergenführer. That's just.
Yep.
I wonder, can that be a T-shirt?
What the
The 4-step precept.
The 4-step precept. Yep.
You're a liar.
You're a liar.
I'll hurt you.
I'll hurt you.
Preach.
Yeah.
You're not going to listen to me anyway.
It's 5 steps, man. You might die in your sleep.
Understand that when I do this for you and you've been given this truth and you reject it, it's not good for you. And I think, the interaction you have with that person is a lot different than trying to apologize for God rather than explaining our faith in a way that honors him.
Absolute scumbag. I'm not going to. Do we watch their advert?
Oh, let's see what it is. Is it going to be the same advert? It probably is.
You're a Christian man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
we
The
won't
same
bother
advert.
that.
We're not going to waste our time with that. Although he did just say that we're a Christian man. And if we disagree,
We're
what's
lying.
the 4 process?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're lying. Yes, you are.
We might die in our sleep
Might
tonight.
die in our sleep tonight.
You are a Christian man, and if you don't agree with me, that's because you're not going to listen anyway.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, seriously, guys, let us know in the comments any argument that you think that might actually be a valid tactic for.
I don't think that. I don't. Yeah, I'm going to presuppose you can't think of any. Well, I am side out for a while.
Yeah.
So hopefully that won't come up again.
We will probably leave Brugenführer alone for a little while.
Yeah, I don't want to get punched. Bye.
Bye.